What's up, folks, and welcome back to another Young Justice review. Terrell and I are here for episode 18
Yes,
of
sir.
season 4, Beyond the Grip of the Gods. There's a lot to talk about in this episode, and I got to say, I stopped reading comments for a brief period, especially DC comments. And one of my buddies was always on me talking about, bro, you got to get back into DC. They're doing some crazy stuff with Batman, with Azrael, and then he was just like, yo, all this future state stuff is where it's at. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, I respect him, I respect his knowledge. And the fact that they have a future state Lord Zod in this and then made him black, oh my god. Oh my god, they wilding on this show now. They're doing a whole bunch of different stuff in this.
Greatest show out here right now. Last week.
They getting it in, man. That was a shock that I did not see coming. So I was like, wait, who is this? And I'm like, who? It's Lord Zod. Oh nah. I know they didn't go this here. So I'm just beyond intrigued with that. Also, an appearance by General Zod in the Phantom World, which should be pretty interesting. We got a Peacemaker reference. Looks like he may be getting that call for the Justice League after all, along with the Phantom Stranger, if you're familiar too. As we said in the other reviews, make sure you listen all the way through the end of the episode because they're doing a lot of they're making the end credits more significant now. It used to just kind of just be like a throwaway, still with like some music. But now they're dropping gems, and we see that Superman and them are looking for some new recruits for the new Justice League and whatnot. But that has nothing to do with the episode because we do have to talk about the new gods who, well, unfortunately, the Ava DuVernay film never made it. Canceled before development was finished. So this is the best we're going to get right now.
Yeah, I've lost my faith in that as soon as they mentioned it. So I'm like, I'm pissed. So,
but in this episode, this was supposed to be sort of a little bit of a celebration with the new gods, with the Green Lantern Corps, who did not show up, by the way.
They're supposed to show up tomorrow, the next day.
Oh, that's right. Initially they were supposed to all show up, but yeah, they're showing up tomorrow. Not sure why they couldn't just show up today. It's not like they have a problem with like traveling or anything, but
hey, man,
we'll see what happens.
The entire galaxy, man. They got things to do.
Okay, I guess. But yeah, along with that note, what else we got? Jay Garrett, Justice League.
Finally get him to get some. I mean, he's been in the show previous, but
right.
Nice to see him get some solo time.
Right. Yeah, because this is, as they say, it's his first quota mission with the Justice League and whatnot. He didn't do anything in this episode. He was just kind of there. We didn't see him get fast at all. He was just there, I guess, but whatever. But more importantly, Rocket. We see her in her personal life with, listen. And now, listen. So before I even say this, like, dude is the baby whisperer, because every single time, except for this episode, apparently, he's always noticing somebody being pregnant, if you've seen him in previous seasons. But young Amistad, who the fuck decided to give him the most slavish name ever? Like, really? Like, I mean, come on now. Like, and in fact, he's on the spectrum, and that's already something very challenging for kids, and especially as a child, getting folks to understand that, just like the grandmother who in the train incident wasn't easily able to pick up on that, and us as the viewers, it was a no-brainer. You saw it early signs in the beginning, but if that wasn't already challenging, then you're gonna name him Amistad, bruh.
I just like how they're able to handle that so respectfully, like without looking ridiculous. Like I said, they've done it so respectfully. Even you could tell, like, even the voice acting, they, obviously, I'm not sure they had a consultant in the room, but it wasn't silly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes they just be over the top with it, but it was just enough, and it felt like it was a real scene. Like, you know what I mean? This is animated, but it felt real. Like this was something that you could really feel Rocket going through. And as this show takes more and more steps away from the superheroism and into their personal lives, you could definitely see a little bit of what these people have to go through before they go on these like ridiculous missions. You know what I mean? Just kind of step away. So I really appreciate how they're handling these issues of depression and autism and stuff so respectfully, like I said, without it coming off as ridiculous or insulting.
Yeah, this season's been very humanized, and that's good. But beyond them, fighting crime and saving the world and the universe and all that other stuff, we see them as humans. And like I said, Rocket as a mother having an extremely difficult morning with her son, and even to the part of co-parenting, where it's just kind of like you see her still in her very much of a mom role, where she's just like, nah, it's okay. Like, instead of it being a whole drawn out thing, it's like, no, it's okay. And hey, hit me up. You got the number to the Justice League. Gotta do what I gotta do. And I also think it should be noted that kind of affected her this entire episode. We saw a lot of moments of them just kind of looking at her. I mean, yes, she pretty much had a very bad day. Orion almost pounded her face into the core of the planet. But like, yeah, and even Forrester, who just for whatever Forrester, who just for whatever reason was just being targeted by the new guys and just bullying, I guess, and whatnot.
Like them bugs, man.
Yeah, they definitely don't. So, but anyway, I guess the dilemma of this episode is what was going to just be a gathering of a party and celebration and whatnot. What was it called? The Roxanne sale was taken by a bug, and they had to go get it back. And simply put, that was a little bit of a small dilemma that was, for whatever reason, made to be drawn out to be much bigger than it had to be. I think there was enough ability on one side to handle this, right?
I wouldn't say it was small, but they knew how unstable it was. It could have been, an explosion or whatever. They were, and one side they were like looking out for them, and then another they're like, yeah, we're not just gonna have you just come in here and jack our stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, they were looking out for them, but they got that whole treaty where they can't just run up in their spot, without permission. Some people need to catch on to that, but
and then what else we got?
I'm excited because, like, as this characters like Rocket, and like the new guys, like they've been shown but never really touched upon throughout the show. So I'm curious to know, like, who was just like, yo, let's just take some of these characters that we've been playing around with but just never touched and really expand upon it, because every 4 episodes of this show now was like its own like little saga, like little mini thing, little chapter. So I'm really digging it.
Yeah. And also, I mean, we with a focus of mental health in the beginning of the episode, I think that Orion, who's also kind of dealing with the residuals of his father, but also being claustrophobic, is very triggering to him. And he definitely went ape shit. He had Rocket in his eyes, and he had to be calmed down by the mother bot. So, but that rage scene was definitely
who his father is. I mean, if you watch previous these cartoons, it's dead.
Yeah, exactly. On the other side of this episode, Superboy still trying to figure it out in the Phantom Zone. Now he's just kind of going through these trippy things with Pops.
I should have known. I thought about every other place but the Phantom Zone. You know what I mean? Like, this is the big reveal. I don't know why I wasn't thinking about that. Maybe because they've never shown people have like these astral forms in the Phantom Zone. So that's what kind of threw me off. But man, I should have known. And what would even make them go to the Phantom Zone? Because that wasn't a Phantom Zone projector. But man, I mean, he's not dead. So
yeah, exactly. And General Zod is there. He's like, never met each other before.
Which, we did now, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because his own consciousness was basically manifesting Lex Luthor, which was making him decide to shed further distractions in basically getting rid of McGann, who's also alive. It should be noted as well too. So they're definitely seems like they're going to be getting out of here after a while. After the whole crazy thing with him even getting here in the first place, folks was kind of wondering how this was going to play out. So it is interesting to see how this now goes forward, especially with General Zod in the fold. So what else happened in this episode? I feel like there's something. Oh, how could we forget? I always get his name wrong, but I think I'm gonna get it right for finally. Mahala Fakah.
I was about to say I cannot pronounce that.
There we go. I got it. He's out here. First of all, in human form here, or in human trick bag, shall I say?
His
The fact. Listen, bro. That bar scene was the wildest drunk stuff I've ever seen. Yeah, it's enough of us. I did the math. It's 100 to 1. We could take on the new guys. I was like, oh, he's tripping here.
Right.
And then he said, and we could take on Dark. And then they cut him off. They was like, dude, get out the bar. You out here wilding. And then, he tried to recruit homegirl. Or he didn't really try to recruit her. It definitely was a trick bag. She definitely was not sold. She was just like, what?
She just wanted information. She just wanted information.
Exactly. That's as much as a telemarketer calling you and you answering the phone, and that doesn't make you wanted to actually want their services. Like, he definitely tricked them, padded his numbers. I think they said they got about 26 rebel. Yeah. So very impressive for Darkseid. Therefore,
I'm sorry. I was gonna say I'm not sure what McGann's brother is getting out of it. They really haven't been really clear about that since the first couple episodes of this season when they were on Mars, and what reason would he have to work with Darkseid? Because he's the one that planted the bomb. With that they wound up doing with Superboy while he's in the Phantom Zone now and everything else. So like I said, they really haven't been clear about what his goals are. I mean, ultimately he's going to get betrayed by Darkseid. That's what's about to happen. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, if you know Darkseid, I mean, he's got. I don't know why they draw Darkseid with the angry black man face, but but he's definitely about to get betrayed here. Like,
yeah. I mean, he wants to be able to get a boon to get up out of here.
Yeah, okay.
But where to? And I don't think that's happening. Like I said, because of his service in luring 26 rebels, he was able to get the meeting. They were impressed, but not impressed enough. And then he says, "Listen, you now have to follow Lord Zod as if he was Darkseid now." And whatever that means going forward, I don't know. I'm ready for the next episode right now because I'm definitely intrigued to see where they're gonna go with this.
I thought that was Metron at first, and like I said, I wasn't prepared for that reveal either, man, because that's a big thing. And like you mentioned, Future State. I mean, I've read every single issue of that, and that's supposedly the canonical future of the DC universe and where that's going. But like I said, I was not expecting that, man. This show has been, this entire season has just been hitting me with so many rights and lefts that I have not been expecting, and the tone overall of the show is just crazy good. Like I can't even explain. Like it's almost like there's two different shows between that first two seasons and now, well, first three and now. Like it's weird. Like I can't even put my finger on it, but. And like I said, just being able to jump around to like different things in the DC universe, and the method that they're telling the story this season. So,
I think ever since the show became on the DC Universe app, the playground was able to be expanded a little bit. And now being on HBO Max, I think it's able to be expanded even bigger. So to me, it feels like they maybe got a little bit more creative control, less of a parental advisory on it, and able to really tell whatever stories they want to tell. And I also think that DC Comics have always been very much like willing to push the needle as far as they could to tell different stories. And I think that, and I've always thought that DC animated movies were light years better than Marvel, if we're just gonna make comparisons here, but I've always thought they've always been very good. And I also think that their television series has been good. This has just been a show that's been good, but this fallen by the wayside in terms of when it was going to be released, or who was going to handle it. So now that I think everything's kind of catching up, now they're just like, hey, we're still here. We're going to tell all types of different stories, use all different types of characters, and you're just going to see a little bit of everything. And I think that this is a good sign going forward. I just hope the future of the show has been solidified going forward.
Well, I mean, that's funny you mentioned that too, because like when the first couple episodes of this season were coming out, people were already like, "Yo, let's just petition for season 5 right now. We're not playing no games, not taking no chances," because us as the fans that have been watching us for the last 10 years, we already know how this goes. we barely got that second and third season.
Yeah.
So it was up in the air. Like you said before, like when it came from Cartoon Network and it got canceled because of low toy sales. I'm like, I never saw a Young Justice toy on the shelf. That's just me personally, but
never, not a thing.
Right,
never, not a thing.
These low toy sales, but it also just had a lot to do with the scheduling and the time that it was coming on. It was coming on like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the afternoon on Fridays, whatever, man. Like, but like I said, I'm glad that the community was able to keep this on and show that they really do want this. And that the animators and the writers are still on board, and of course all the voice actors, everybody's willing to do this. But the show has just been nothing but amazing. And I just want to note that Orion didn't have to hit them kids like that either. So, I put that in my notes, like why he hit them kids like that. Like he went berserk. He was just like, how y'all get down, new guys? Like just smack kids. So hitting them younglings.
Yeah. By the way, Forager had his eyes set on blue female Forager. Like, yo, he already knew what time it was.
Yeah, larvae.
yeah. He called that out way early. He was like, yeah, I got plans today. Y'all can do all this sneak dissing y'all want, but I know what I'm leaving with tonight. So as long as she was satisfied, that's all that mattered. And he got the approval by Jay, so I guess he's good. But Orion and them was just like, nah, get this motherfucker out of here. Like, nah, we good on them. So.
I know we were talking about this episode, but I don't know if you noticed how they've been slowly planting the seeds for like Superman's kid. Damian is there, like Talia was holding them in like the previous episode, stuff like that. Just certain stuff that you see in the background that's getting set up that if you don't really pay attention to, it will slip. And like you said, it's a lot of stuff. Like you said, those background episodes, those end credit episodes that they're utilizing the time for now, that are setting up, of course, the story going forward.
Yeah,
or whatever the end game finale they about to do.
Yeah. So it's like these stingers are much like you expect in cinematic movies, where you're just like, after the credits, I need to see what they're going to say, and they're just doing that at the end of each episode, saying like, hey, pay attention once these credits roll, like. Something of some importance, maybe not next episode, maybe not the season or whatever it may be, but we're definitely planting some seeds for things to come. And it's also timing. I mean, Peacemaker just really was successful in HBO Max. Why not talk about it? Also, he was also talking about the Justice League on his finale, so it just seems to make sense to say like, yeah, we're gonna take a look at him. We don't have a picture of him right now, but
you have to think this was probably done like 2 years ago too, because animation, they've had this stuff like done in advance. So
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it was canned that long, because like when the DC fandom thing happened, they were just like, yo, we got 3 episodes ready, let's just drop them. To me, tells me that they had came down the pipeline, they didn't know what they were going to release. I don't think it had been that long, but I think they were just waiting for just the right moment. And we already had 2 years of DC fandom. There's no way they waited a whole year, longer than a whole year, in order to do so. So I just, it's just one of those type of things, and I think the next DC fandom will probably get some new news about going forward with another season and whatnot. So I don't think they could be canned for a year, but not no longer than that, you know. So
look, all I know is if they do get another season, and if the next season the last one, I better see a Young Justice box set in my future. A complete box set, Blu-ray, 4K, whatever you want to do. Yeah. It better be a complete box set, man. Because like I said, I mean this feels like I said, this has been like, I mean, I was like 20 something when this first started coming on, but feels like this is like a big part of my life now. Like this is appointment television for me. And you can see definitely when you see a lot of the new guys, the planet and stuff and the worlds, the animation is crazy, man. Like how in the bag, like they have this now. It looks so good. Not to say that it didn't look good before, but you could definitely tell that they know what they're doing, and they're definitely improving on how the show looks. And you could definitely see the changes in like some of the characters and stuff like that too. Everybody looks a little sharper for some reason, but it looks good, man. Like this show's good. I don't know why nobody. I mean, everybody's watching because obviously we got
I don't think we got any more to talk about this episode. Again, this was episode 18, Beyond the Grip of the Gods of Young Justice Season 4. Folks, let us know your thoughts about tonight's episode. Favorite moments, things we might have missed up on. There could have been a couple of more Easter eggs we might have not have talked about. But
# save Superboy, right? It's a Phantom Zone.
Yeah. Now he good. He's out of there. One
I don't
more
know how
episode, he out.
I don't know how he would get out because the Phantom Zone, as we know, has to be turned on from the other side. You can't escape. I mean, that's just how it's designed. But we'll see.
Yeah. On that note, give us your predictions on how does this all go about. I'm very curious to see General Zod's input on this. I think he's very much aware of the scenario. He's very optimistic. I mean, and at this point now, he's trying to work with Superboy, so there's got to be some plan in play here. You know, this is not just. And then you have to think though, the fact that he's half Kryptonian, that may not do him. That I don't think that's on his want to be friends list here. Right. So there could be something with that. I don't know if I've ever read anything with General Zod and Superboy, and I don't. They have never. No, this has never been a thing on the show either, or any animated.
This is the first time they've shown Zod in the show.
Yeah, exactly. So right, and I don't know if I've seen anything with the two of them ever encountering and what type of relationship that may be, but I could imagine with him being half human, half Kryptonian, he's not going to be fond of that. But if he is playing nice, that means there is another alternative motive here, and that beyond escaping could be something else we have to look forward to. Right. So, and Ms. Martian, he may be able to do something with this as well too. So who knows? A couple of just wild things to think about, and we'll obviously be here for next week's episode. So folks, in the comments, let us know your thoughts about tonight's episode in this review, and we will see you back next week.
See you.
Big gold bell.